Okay, for our next project in the Pinch Pot unit, using that method, we're going to be making a jar. So I already have my material set up. I have my slip ready with my paintbrush on a lid. I have my sponge in a container. And I'm going to show you what the jar is going to look like. So we're going to make 2 additional pinch pots. So we have this one, which is going to be like the bottom. This is going to have feet, and remember, you can choose however you want to make the feet. It can be a coil ring, it can be, that previous example, it can be something straight, it can be, more like chubby, it can be at a point. You have so many different options when it comes to feet, okay? Just be mindful of the surface area, but you're basically just going to put something so that way it's elevated. Then we're going to be making a top pinch pot. That's going to be like the lid. We're going to add a knob. And then on the inside of the bottom, we're going to be making a coil ring. That's going to actually go about halfway down. So if you were going to look at it from the side view, this is that foot ring going up the side of the pinch pot. Then this is that inside coil. So it's like halfway down, but you only see that top layer, right? So that's what it's gonna look like on the inside. And then the top pinch pot is gonna cover over that and be seamless. So inside here, there's the inside coil. There's a knob on the top, and there's feet on the bottom. Those are the things that I'm going to be looking for this assignment. So let's begin. You know how to make a pinch pot? So for this one, you're going to make 2 additional pinch pots that are going to be the same width, like same opening. It's okay if the profile shape is a little different, because you can see that this one's kind of short, this one's tall, but that their diameter, their circumference inside there matches. Okay, you don't have a larger lip. So I'm going to decide which one is going to be the bottom, which one's going to be the top. This one feels a little bit more like a better shape. And I'm going to attach the feet, just to review that. Here's a little coil I made. I'm going to cut this into thirds. So that way I have 3 feet. I'm going to use my scoring tool to score them. But I kind of want to lay them out and see where the placement should be. Where do I want them? Take a look. Maybe a little wider apart. Okay, I like where that is. Going to use my paintbrush to kind of draw out the placement of each of these, so I don't forget. Score. 3 S's. Next, slip. Then seal it into place. So just placing it on there is not enough. Got to really wiggle it in, and you got to seal away that seam. Now I didn't cut these because I'm going to be tapping the ends level. Similar to this one. I kind of like that direction. I don't want them to be straight. You can place a finger on the inside. but I don't want to see that seam. Okay. Next two, ready? Score, slip, seal, every time. Last one. I want to make sure that they're level, so I'm going to use something kind of flat and just tap the surface. Just to make sure that they are level. Okay, so my feet are done. I'm going to work on the inside coil now. You're going to make a coil. We learned how to do that. And you're going to score on the inside of the bottom pinch pot. I like to tap the coil a little bit so it's a little bit flattened. I'm going to score under there. Now this coil is super big, but I'm going to place it on the inside just gently because this is to measure. I'm going to see where it is. I'm going to cut, once again, at a bit of an angle. So that I know where to attach them. Okay, score, slip. This is just to attach the ring together. So I'm going to score the outside edge right on there. Place it on the inside. It looks like it's going to be a little short, but when we press it in, it expands. So I'm only placing it about halfway down my project. There's a lip. There we go. So you want there to be like a little lip on the outside. You don't want to submerge it. Now you can see score marks on the inside, and you can also see that seam along here. I don't want to see that. And I also need to redefine this edge because it's a little bit soft. So you can't really tell where the outside of the pinch pot is from the inside coil. It's not well defined. So I'm going to take a tool, dip it in some water. I'm going to just define this edge a little clearer. So that way you can really tell this is the base, and this is the inside coil. And it also makes it really nice and level so that this top part has a lip to fit on. So it's kind of just making room all the way across for the top lid. It's also sealing it in there really well. Get your fingers wet. Just kind of go over those edges to make sure that everything is really nice and smooth. Okay, now the inside part, you're going to use your thumb or you can use a tool, and you're going to be blending down that coil. So it's like an up and down motion instead of side to side, because that just smears it, but it doesn't blend into the bottom layer. And if it's easier for you to use your thumb to kind of get a feel for it, that's fine too. Just be gentle because you just applied this coil. But you're going to be pressing down until it blends all the way in. And you can't see that seam anymore. It disappears. So here it's visible and then it disappears. And that's what I'm going to be looking for and checking inside of each of these jars to make sure that that inside seam has been well blended. Remember, we're smashing that top layer, that coil, down into the bottom pinch pot. And you want to make it nice and smooth. I don't want to see any of these push marks. So just take a minute, take a thumb, make it nice and smooth. So if you need to do some things on the outside, like mine kind of got a little lumpy, so I'm just gonna flatten that back out. I want this to be nice and straight. You can notice that this is also a little raised. I can flatten that as well. You can also tap it on a table gently, and it'll flatten for you. Make sure that this is not wet. If you're concerned about it, you don't want it to stick. So you can take like a paper towel and just kind of place it loosely and then put your top on. So you can kind of see, oh, this doesn't really fit yet. Okay, so I actually, in the process of making the bottom, I stretched it out a little, which is totally fine. That happens. So I'm going to stretch this top pinch pot to make it wider, to make that connection look better. So almost. Okay, so you can see how it just kind of sits on top of that level. But if you're worried about it sticking, you can put this on top. It's also a nice trick if you want to really make it look more finished, like that they're more connected. You can kind of blend down and up on this lid so it doesn't have as much of an overhang. You can kind of fine tune the top part, and it won't attach because you have this. So like I can smash it in and kind of lift it up, smashing it down, lifting it up a bit. And that's just to make sure that it looks more like a jar and it doesn't have as much of an overhang. So that way it's more cleanly resting on each other's surfaces. Okay. So this top part, I feel like it's a little bumpy, so I'm gonna shave it down a bit. Get my tool nice and wet so I can smooth, give myself a nice working area for the knob. Okay. So here's my little jar. You can make the knob however you want. It could be something small. It can be something more like a coil. But play around with what you want, what you think it looks nice for your size of your pinch pot. So I feel like this is nice. It kind of even looks like a little acorn. So I'm gonna find out where it's level. Take a look. Score. Slip. And seal. And if I wanted to, you know, really enhance the design, maybe I want it to be, I changed my mind. I don't want it to be an acorn. I want it to be, you know, an apple. This is the time where you can make little details like a leaf or scoring and slipping, of course. And being sure to really blend and smooth. Now I'm doing this all the same day, but if you're noticing that it's a little floppy, you know, you might want to wait for it to kind of stiffen a little bit before you add the inside coil or the lid. So you can make those decisions. You can see I got a little jar.